I am Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody, welcome. West Point, Mississippi. I have noticed that the pecan trees are starting to put out, so we
pecan trees don't lie.
We shouldn't get another freeze. Toxie, is that your understanding?
I'm not going to make any claims.
Man, I sure hope not.
Dudley.
I've seen a frost on pecans. So.
I have too, for sure, because it's hard on them.
Well, we figured you had as long as you've been around.
And I bought some tomatoes, but I refused to plant them until Friday morning.
Is that the ones that are in the parking lot?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're acclimatizing. Is that the word?
Acclimating. Have you got any tomatoes yet? He's not talking. He does.
Well,
he's got some that are probably 5 foot tall.
He's waiting on Good Friday. You put your garden out on Good Friday.
Oh, you do?
He's probably, I bet, knowing him, he's pushed the envelope and he has something already potted up.
He's got a greenhouse behind it. He's got a greenhouse.
Doesn't have any heating or cooling.
He's
anymore.
cheating.
Oh.
I'm not. What's cheating about planting something? You buy it, you take it home, you plant it.
That's not cheating.
That's not cheating.
Well, he always has the first ripe tomato. It's like he challenges
well,
himself.
not
every
anymore.
year.
I got so much abuse over it, and accused of cheating to have the first tomato. Thought it would be fun, and I mean, next thing
I mean, you did walk up in here with like February with one.
Well, I kind of hope you do bring some early tomatoes.
Yeah.
So
well, the problem is I don't bring them. I eat them.
He sends a picture of his sandwich.
Is that the thing about the wives' tale about a pecan tree? Is it, for the most part, is that true?
It's all wives' tales.
But I know it's the last thing to bloom out.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for that to be a saying.
Sure, I get that too. But I can remember many times that pecan trees got completely wiped out by frost. So, so it's not true.
Yeah.
Why would a tree budding out control the climate,
Well,
Bobby?
Just
Bobby.
figured
Come
he
on,
knows,
man.
you know. Pecan tree knows.
Yeah, right, Bobby.
Well, let me go ahead and introduce our guest. So, sitting on the couch today, we've got two young men.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I bet they have played some practical jokes on folks because they are so similar in their appearance. But so first off, I'm looking at Hunter Farrior, and then his brother Chase Farrior.
You got it.
And they got
They ought to look alike.
They got big smiles. Yeah. Mike said y'all are Irish twins. What does that mean, Mike?
No, I was just joking about
How
that.
far apart are y'all?
3 years.
3 years. Yeah, that's not
I'm 3
Irish
years
twins.
older.
That's got to be like 2 kids in the same year, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly
Hayden's
what
buddy's got a sister there.
That's Irish twins?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for driving. Y'all came from down near Jackson?
Right.
Yes, sir. Brandon.
Well, we've been keeping up
Mississippi
with you guys.
homeboys. That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, y'all killing a lot of turkeys and
We
got
do.
a lot of good things going on.
We appreciate y'all having us on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here.
Which one of y'all's the better turkey hunter?
Ooh.
You want to start a war?
Did you see both the mannerisms? One went that way, one did the other. Yeah.
It depends on the day.
Yeah.
They would both say the same thing.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. Do y'all hunt together?
We do.
Majority.
Yeah.
Majority of the time.
I don't know if you'd call it hunting together or hunting.
We're both
in
hunting
the
the same
same-
turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby and I resemble that remark.
We hunt a lot differently. A lot of times we've had to kind of mesh a little better over the years. So opportunity's been there to adapt to each other's styles and ways and stuff like that. But
Spoken a little bit diplomatically
Yeah,
there.
so
I
who-
doubt it's that diplomatic in person.
no, it ain't.
Who's the most aggressive?
Right here.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he's a lot more patient and sits back and lets it unfold and stuff. And I'm trying to
get in there on it.
trying to make it unfold as fast as possible.
Yeah,
and,
I can appreciate that. Yeah.
so,
Now I'll call a lot more
He
more
does.
aggressive. Yeah. So
So you're more aggressive on the ground, kind of woodsmanship, than you're more aggressive calling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
he's a better caller than I am,
Yeah.
so it's easy to be that
So-
guy.
Well, that's good.
So do y'all have strengths and weaknesses that are different and y'all can team up and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
really?
and there's a bunch of times we'll be hunting together and working a bird his way or my way, and then we'll look at each other and go, all right, you're up to bat.
Yeah.
Let's do it your way instead of my way.
Well,
kind of thing.
that little change often, brings a lot of good stuff.
Right.
It really does.
So, go from following to leading, kind of, and work out. pretty well for us.
First few times didn't go over smoothly.
Yeah.
What do you mean it ain't working? It's working. It just hadn't worked all the way yet. But now it's, we trust each other enough to.
Have you ever screamed at each other in the woods?
I wouldn't say so.
No.
No, that's good. Just go wait till you get back to the truck.
Usually at the time, neither way has worked if we're
Yeah.
still hunting.
Yeah,
So we
right.
can't. Nobody really has a dog in the fight quite yet.
It's hard to hunt as a pair.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
You know, it seems like the easiest way to do it is just to let one person drive most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because trying to make a decision, I don't know, what do you think? What do you think? And you just sit there
Yeah.
and you never pick a tree or whatever.
Miss the
and
window.
So
Yeah.
that can make things, I'm not good at it.
But I will say that once you kind of make up your mind, having two people is an asset.
I would agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
You know.
Somebody get out in front 40 or 50
Yeah.
yards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the mental aspect of it too, which I didn't really appreciate this. I used to hunt only by myself. I wouldn't hunt with brothers, barely dad every now and then if he would go with us. But when you don't have somebody there to really you have second thoughts about something, or did I really hear that, or did you see that? You start kind of crutching on that a little bit, that second pair of ears and stuff. So the first few times I went back out by myself, I'm kind of looking around like, well, I got to believe it now. I got to trust my gut a lot more now.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know.
It's the old, what is it? He's that way. No, he's that
Right,
way.
there's only one way now.
Let's go in the middle.
Mhm.
That's right.
Have y'all ever noticed, and Toxie, I bet you have as well, deer hunting so especially, but two guys can be up, maybe the same tree or in a ladder stand or something, and totally one guy sees way more than the other guy. I mean, you're right there together, but I know, especially deer hunting in the old days when we were filming and the camera guy would kind of be off at an angle from you, and you climb down and go, yeah, did you see that? And and I'd be
Why
like,
didn't
well,
you
no,
shoot him?
I didn't see that at all. Why didn't you tell me about that?
Oh yeah, that happens a lot with us. So we've noticed that quite a few times. So
You guys are pretty young.
I guess you can say that.
I'm 32.
I'm 29. I think.
Oh, yeah, y'all are young
So,
men.
Probably.
Pretty young.
Oh, woo.
Yeah.
Feel a little older some days.
What's that?
Mid-April, I feel like I'm 18,
Yeah.
so I'm ready to go 24/7. I feel like.
Well, I've got a bunch of questions, but we're doing this rapid fire thing. I'm sure Dudley's got some questions. Why don't we start there, Dudley? and
Okay,
let
that's a
you
good
jump
idea.
out. I was going to start with blood on the biologic, but everybody's been so busy. I don't think we have any.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I've
You
been
got some
working
blood on the
really.
biologic?
I've been working really hard, Bobby, and I've got a blood on the biologic.
Well, give it to us, Dudley.
So my friend Drew Summers, we went to forestry and wildlife school together, and we've just kept in touch. His son Hunter, he's 5. He killed his first turkey, beautiful turkey, down in South Mississippi. Just really proud of him, and he is a 5th generation turkey hunter.
Hey, hit the
Hunter-
horn
Hunter
for that
Summers.
there, Richie.
Yeah, so that's you don't hear that very
No,
often.
you don't.
No.
So let's see. Because Mr. Fox, then you, then Daniel New will be 3rd generation.
Yeah, but they're
Fourth.
fourth.
Yeah, my grandfather, who I was named for, his nickname was Turkey Hayes.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, why am I
Doctor.
just learning
Yeah, how
this?
do we? Yeah.
We've talked. It's on the.
No, you've never said that.
No,
Well,
but never
it was
once
on
heard of him.
the. It was on the film that we produced, and I spoke about
maybe
that.
it was there,
Yep.
and I was probably
On the
asleep.
Colonel and the Fox.
So when y'all come back to my office, I've got the
Jesus.
picture. It's one of my most cherished, heirloom pictures. My grandmother gave it to me, but it's a picture of him and his teammates in 1907,
I've seen this.
champions of the South basketball team. I'm pretty sure he lettered in 2 sports at Alabama, track and basketball. But he evidently back then the YMCA was more competitive than college sports. Wasn't NCAA wasn't a deal at all. And yeah, YMCA. And anyway, if you turn it on the back, it had all the players' names and then their signature and their AKA alias. It said Toxie Hayes Senior, AKA Turkey Hayes.
Oh, wow. And that's
That's-
Mr. Fox's dad.
That's right. And then I never heard it till I saw that, and then I asked Daddy about it. He's like, "Yeah, that was his nickname."
I've seen that picture in your office.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times and never realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the back, and I need to get it preserved because it's all yellow and
Yeah, it's
kind of crackled. You can still see it and read it, but I've got to do something with it. It's so priceless.
That's awesome.
So this was a 5th generation. That's even
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Congrats, Hunter.
Yeah, congrats.
Proud of you.
Yes, sir.
good stuff.
You got one, Lanny?
Well, I have a good buddy that hadn't been able to harvest a bird in his home territory. And he had to go out of state, and I think he hired somebody to go and yelp for him, but he killed one.
Yeah,
And his name is Bobby Cole.
Well, there was no hiring
Yeah.
involved.
What?
Yeah, no hiring involved.
Oh, my bad.
Begging was more like it.
Yeah.
What, did you shoot his beard off or something?
Yeah, you
I
blew
did.
his beard
Yeah,
off.
I did. I don't know how that happened, but
Hey,
I
lot
did.
of-
but
lot of pe-
congratulations, you're
A lot
on
of
the
people are
board.
doing that this year, ironically.
Yeah, 2 of them got.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vandy.
Vandy's
Vandy's on the board too.
Vandy
in
Stubbs.
Mississippi.
Actually, he retained about 6 or 8 long hairs on his. So
You got 2
Okay.
or 3, don't you?
I got at least that many.
At least 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a good visual of what it did look like before I shot, though.
yeah, TSS is hard on beards.
Sure
Yeah,
is.
it is.
I'd love to be able to hold one and look at it. But
Look what we didn't lock the
Hadn't
door. Look who
happened yet.
slithered in here, Mac.
Mac
Yeah.
in the
Hey.
house.
You got a blood on the biologic, Mac?
No, I don't. I was gonna say Vanderbilt, but
Yeah.
y'all got him knocked out.
Vandy's
Yeah.
on the
Well, he had actually snagged one by the feet in Texas.
Yeah, there's
but
several
that's
birds been
not
good in
quite
Texas.
the same
No.
as home.
No, I talked to him
Although
about
it's
that.
still, it's fun and I love it. It's a great place.
It's
but
just still not exactly the same.
it's just not the same.
They don't gobble the same.
I had a story from this morning that was just incredible.
Bobby, that
Well, I
story,
wanna
The
hear it.
Moonlight story.
he sent us like a 9-page article text about it. It'll take forever
About
if
a
we get
wonderful
onto
morning.
it.
Yeah, that was a good morning though.
Yeah. Let me just take a minute and tell these guys here.
Oh, okay. Let me tell it.
I
Anyway.
don't
let me
It's too
get
long, but I'm
let
gonna
me
tell
get
it
comfortable and hey, Richie, bump me if I start snoring.
I'll give you the abbreviated version. No, there's been a bird that I've messed with.
Yeah.
Lanny went with me
Messed
once.
with him a little bit.
It has to be
myself.
6 or 7 times now.
Well,
Or
this
more.
is the fifth.
Yeah.
This is
Fifth.
the
Yeah,
fifth.
yeah.
You can stretch that.
Gone
Come on.
to him from different angles. And went in there this morning, and he's always been roosted in generally the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come to him from several different angles. He always does something different. Went in this morning and got up at 3:45 and got in there early.
The man goes
There was a
early. He loves
lot
the
of moonlight this morning. A lot of moonlight.
Mhm.
So I started walking down this little narrow 2-track, and I needed to go about another 60 yards, and that's just where I'm going to start. And I shouldn't be bumping him at all because I'm trying to be cautious. And I'm starting to look to where I'm going to try to pick where I'm going to sit, and I see the leaves are out on the trees, as y'all know, but I see a silhouette of a turkey up in the top of a tree about 40 yards away. And then I argue with myself if I'm really seeing it, because it's dark, if I'm really seeing a turkey or am I seeing a squirrel nest. And I finally convinced myself it's too symmetrical and you need to trust yourself. Let's just sit down. So I sat down, and another 20 minutes go by, and then it starts becoming time. You start hearing birds. It's time for one to gobble if he's going to gobble. And I hear a turkey a long ways off gobbling. So I said, "Well, I have."
Good info.
He wasn't.
Note
He
to
wasn't.
self.
He wasn't on us.
Where's weapons the sun?
That's what I always say.
So I'm thinking, well, doggone it, I may have messed this up because he should be starting to gobble. And some crows came over, and all of a sudden this turkey gobbles. Not the one I was thinking about, but one even closer.
Oh man.
There's a bird, and so it takes 3 gobbles before I finally figure out where he is. And the tree he's in is 20 yards from me. And I ranged it after all this was over with, and the limb he was sitting on was 22 yards from me.
Whew.
And so his beard's hanging out there. I began to hear him drumming. All this goes on in the morning, just unfolds, and he's so close. He's too close. I have messed up. I know this never works out for me when something like
Me
this
neither.
happens.
It's not.
So I'm just pinned down. Fortunately, I'm comfortable. I don't have to worry about that. And the hens start just kind of tree calling around. It ends up being 3 hens, and that was a hen that I had seen. But they took forever to just figure out what they wanted to do. And in the meantime, he probably gobbles 50 times.
Oh, Lord.
And just right in my face.
You say that like it hurts.
And all of a sudden, they all start putting. And I know he doesn't see me. And they're all they are really, something's got them upset. And so I'm thinking somebody has snuck in there on me.
Someone did, actually.
Lanny.
So I knew
I
Lanny.
would have,
No,
but I wasn't there.
he's fixing to tell you who it was.
So I'm trying to be aware because that's my first paranoid thought is there somebody. But then I see something move out away from me a little bit in the edge of this field, and it was either a coyote or maybe a raccoon. Something had to be a coyote to get them so upset. But it took I got to watch them calm back down for It took about
Or
15,
Bobcat too.
20 minutes. It could have been. But he never strutted again on the limb, but he ended up gobbling a couple more times. So I'm thinking if he parachutes out like Batman, he's going to be at my feet. And that's not going to end well at all for me. So my only hope is that he'll fly down with those hens and maybe I can call him back. And I wanted to watch the whole process of him flying down. And see, and you could see him starting to get a little edgy, a little anxious.
Yeah, and he can thank his lucky stars you killed one in Tennessee last week.
Look, I was arguing with my mental self. This shoulder was arguing with this shoulder.
The devil.
Yeah, because I had a good clear shot. But he pitches down, and when he pitched down, as soon as he went airborne, the 3 hens went airborne, and they all kind of landed right there together. And it was over. I couldn't do anything with him from then on. He was with them, and they marched off. But I ended up just sitting there thinking, what a fantastic morning to get to enjoy him.
Yeah, that was worth the price of admission, to say the least.
Time.
Yeah. It was close. Yeah. So that was just my story.
It worked to one of my favorite sayings about you could be the greatest caller in history, the Michael Jordan of turkey calling, all-time greatest, which probably isn't somebody. There's so many great ones. But anyway, my point is, when you walk up in the woods, you're just another hen. Mm-hmm. If you're the best you can be, you're just another hen. And when they've got hens, it's rough.
The one thing that I noticed, though, seeing him the whole time, was he was periscoping the entire time. I mean, he was constantly looking this way and that way and looking around.
They pretty much always do that, I'm going to bet you.
He was really checking things out. And the hens weren't talking much, so he didn't have a lot. In fact, they would yelp, and sometimes he wouldn't gobble back at them.
I made you feel a little better, didn't it?
It did. I bet he's tired of them.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Good story. Great story.
Yeah.
That is a great story.
It was a
so
lot of fun.
the season
moment out there.
The season down there doesn't close till like up in May. You got a lot of time. I just wonder what's going to happen with that discipline in the first week of May that you had this morning.
Me and Hayden are going down there tomorrow. So
maybe y'all can go to that spot.
I think so.
No.
You don't mind?
That would be dishonorable.
I put some police tape across that little road right there. So
I wouldn't
crime
do that to you
scene
unless you're with me. I'd do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look. We got a little thing. Have you guys ever listened to our podcast?
A time or two.
Yeah.
We try to bump y'all up in
I
rankings.
told you somebody was listening.
Yeah, you did. So we've got Rapid Fire brought to you by our friends at Nutrient.
Yeah.
And we've got y'all some Nutrient shirts over there.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
So.
All right, guys. Y'all know the game here, but it's 2 of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you didn't write 2?
let me think. Let's just do.
Why don't you let both of them?
Yeah, let them both.
Yeah.
Do we need to make one leave
They're
the room?
brothers. It'll be a good. No,
Just see what they say.
Just say what they say. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll interview the older one first.
Deal.
Or are you going to ask them the same questions in a? Okay. Why don't you just let them? Anyways.
Answer together. All right.
All right.
All right.
I'll go first, then you answer.
All right.
Okay.
Are you ready? Second favorite thing to hunt.
Alligator.
On the way to the hunt.
Wait. You didn't get a chance to answer. You
Yes.
only had one answer.
Oh yeah.
Deer.
All right.
Wait a minute.
that how we're
Alligator.
gonna do it?
Alligator's awesome.
I think he's basically saying I don't really like to hunt anything but turkeys.
And sometimes alligator.
Hey, look, swamp lizards are. I mean,
No.
it's fun.
All right.
No.
Swamp marlin. Excuse me. That's what we like to call them.
I thought you called them swamp tarpon.
No, swamp
Swamp.
marlin.
Swamp marlin. Okay. All right.
Second question. On the way to the hunt, do you have a coffee or a caffeine drink?
White monster.
White monster.
Oh, both. Yeah.
On the way to the hunt, music to get you fired up? Yes or no?
Nope. Dead silent.
Oh, it's game time.
12 gauge or 20?
12.
Both.
Yeah,
I
100%.
do a little bit of both. I
New,
alternate.
new looking gun or old school?
Old school.
Old school.
Uh-huh.
Both they said
Hey.
Tight face mask or loose face mask?
loose.
Did you make a B or better in 8th grade English? Yes or no?
No.
Nowhere close.
All right. Even the author didn't make a B. Okay, I like it. Have you ever cleaned a gummed up carburetor on a boat, bike, or mower?
I haven't had to.
I have a lot.
There you go.
Would you rather kill 2 2-year-olds on back-to-back days or kill only one that has made you question your skills and sanity over most of the season?
2 2-year-olds.
That's gonna be a tough one. Yeah, they weigh I'd rather the hard one if I could.
I've done the hard one. I like.
Yeah.
Give me the other ones.
Give me the easy one.
If it results in me getting him, let's
Stay
say
in
that.
the stay in the turkey woods all day, or hunt till noon, then go catch fish, play golf, or watch some baseball.
No, I ain't got a fishing pole or a golf club.
all day.
You can no longer use a mouth yelper. What will be your top choice for calling turkeys?
Great question.
I'm using my slate call anyway.
Yeah. Slate and wing bone.
Okay.
Kind of between the two, probably.
All right, like it. It's a pretty day on April 7th in Mississippi. Would you rather hunt fly down to 9 or 9 to 1?
9-1 on April 7th.
That was my
Good
vote
answers.
also.
All right, well, that's it. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Wang bone.
Wang bone. That's
That
right.
wang bone.
Wang bone.
I like that thing.
It's
I tell you what, they sound
people
good.
that can do it.
Yeah,
It's
they can
really
do
sound
it.
good. Yeah. You make your own?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think the Mississippi turkey I killed 2 seasons ago. Pulled it off of him, made it real quick, and been running it ever since. So I got a cane call this year too. And
Oh,
it's
sweet.
I've
pretty
got
fun.
I got a cane call. I love it.
yeah, I've
got it up here.
enjoyed that one.
I got to get with the program.
You do, in so many ways. Like,
Oh, here we go.
oh my goodness,
I'm working on my
Mac,
straw.
you've been keeping up with these guys. You're
They're bulldogs. It's hard.
Mm.
Hard to not.
There we go.
Proud.
all right. Well,
I knew they were smart.
Look, I'd like to travel back in time. What got you both into turkey hunting and hooked you guys so deeply?
Probably go back mutually to our dad. He was a turkey hunter, still is a turkey hunter. The folks I did meet, I do remember meeting, and they knew him as a turkey hunter, and some of his friends were known as deer hunters and known as all around hunters, but he was introduced as a turkey hunter, so I held that to high regard and wanting to grow up to be a turkey hunter. So
I'll second that. And from the time of car seat days, we were going
Oh, yeah.
turkey hunting. So
Yeah.
with him, whether we were sitting in the truck at the gate with the windows down like a dog, or while he slipped on off. Or,
I'll be right back.
yeah, this one starts gobbling a little too much. He's like, just hang out a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I've
Yep.
been there.
Um,
Do y'all still get to hunt with him?
occasionally we will. So
we've got a younger brother, Breck, who they hunt together a good bit, and which really Chase has probably got to hunt with him more than I did. So it's really once the next comes in line, the other one gets to figure out the rest by themselves.
Right.
And when
Yeah.
Breck came along, he had to go out by himself, and so I guess Breck was just last in line, so he gets to hunt with him more than we do.
yeah.
So where'd y'all go to school? High school?
Central Hines Academy in Raymond.
Ah.
So
So y'all will definitely know my roommate in college, Mr. Ted Kendall.
absolutely.
We do. Very well.
Yeah. Mr.
And then
Ted.
Whit,
and-
Small world.
Whit Kendall would be about y'all's age.
yeah.
I went to school with a few years.
Yep.
He's a good
He
kid.
transferred into town there, but they are all the thing in Bolton.
Oh yeah.
Family farm for a very, very long time. Great family.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, his dad, Kojak, or
Mm-hmm.
Ted Senior, was best of friends with Daddy and still is when they can communicate. One of the greatest guys you'll ever meet, too. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I got to go when we were in school. They didn't allow any hunting down on Halifax down there.
They did?
No.
Really?
So I went for the first time with him. It was fun. It's a really fine place.
It
I bet
is.
it is.
Chase, is that your real name, or is that something you came up with to sound cool?
What, Chase?
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
that-
that's my real name. Yeah.
Well, can you tell us the story of your first turkey?
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't a very elaborate one. It was a Rio in Texas, and I think what was that? The better story is the turkey Hunter killed that morning in front of me, probably. But mine was a double bearded Jake, and a ground blind set up in Texas. It was pretty simple, just some, soft calling through the midday section. I think, did you kill one that morning, or was that the evening before?
I'm listening to the story too. I don't really remember.
I don't remember.
Now that you say that, I do remember seeing a pole.
You just remember you killed one for him.
Yeah. So I had never killed one. Hunter killed 2 or 3, and he still was somehow first up to bat. I remember that.
Sounds like my two.
Yeah. But pretty much just called a Jake up, and we were in one of those double bull blinds and got him. And that afternoon, I killed a longbeard, or the next day, I killed a longbeard. It's kind of same scenario, nothing crazy. But I remember Hunter shooting one, I guess that one before, that all I'd been preached to was just don't move. Don't move.
Oh, I do remember this.
And I remember, we worked one in or whatever it was, and high-fived and all that stuff. And Dad looked at me and said, "Chase, did you see the turkey come in? Did you see how it kind of played out?" I said, "No, sir. I just looked at the ground the whole time. I was scared to move." So,
You did right.
yeah.
There's a lot of
They
those.
saw
kind
your
of stories.
face.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Hunter, what about you?
Oh yeah, I remember mine very vividly. I was 7 years old, and it was in Mississippi. And this was a turkey I believe my dad and I had hunted a time or two. Really, I want to say, if memory serves me right, he had a name. I can't remember. Slick something. Slick Willie, Slick Rick, something of those lines. So Slick was in his name. I remember that because I was thinking, man, we ain't got like a more cupcake turkey we can get. I'm
Right.
on 7, while we hunting this one. But it was very foggy, very misty. You could see the air, feel it, and everything. And we were it was some open pasture land. I don't know if it was cattle on it or not. There was a creek bottom coming down at the foot of it, and there was a dried up, at least low, if not dried, pond that we were able to get behind. And I remember him seeing them or hearing them one or another. I'm walking behind him, kind of, really just, he's just blocking my silhouette, walking up as far as we can get. Wind up getting behind that pond dam and really just kind of getting off to the edge on the right. And he caught a few times to, I guess, project it behind us or whatever. And I remember looking up. I hadn't seen him at the time, but I remember when I was able to finally see him, it was one strutting long beard, and I'm lying him down, I swear, 35 to 40 hens. I mean, it just seemed like that's every turkey in the world was right in front of me at the time. And they worked, 30 yards to 20 yards to 15. I was shooting 410, and I think hens were past us at this point. There was so many of them, he had to push in front of him. And I remember I shot at him. I do remember having to verify which one was the long beard, and he told me the one strutting, and I had to verify what strutting meant because you forget everything in the moments. He said, it's the really big one, the one that doesn't look like the rest. The shooter did, put it in the middle and pulled the trigger and shot it. And then, of course, there's turkeys flying everywhere, and we're running through them, and there's scatters, chaos, and everything. And I don't know if either one of us, we saw a turkey flopping, so we were about to find out if this was one of the hens or the gobbler one, and went up there, and I wasn't sure, and I'm sure he knew by then. And it finally he flopped it over, and I saw the beard swing over, and man, he picked me up and gave me a hug and everything. He said, "You're turkey hunter for the rest of your life." And I remember him saying that very vividly.
He was right too.
Yeah, that's right.
Now I know what he meant. So
Yeah,
that's
right.
You don't go back.
No, you don't go back.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's good memories. I was when he was telling that story, he was like, "I don't know if it was a hen or the gobbler flopping." I was wondering where this was going to
You
go.
kept me in suspense. the
We've
whole
heard
time.
some of those stories that didn't end up like his. And it was. Ah.
So I gotta ask them. I got a feeling you kind of have this. So it's like a core philosophy of my two sons, which they're good friends with. And there's a story too for you that's pretty special. But anyway, and theirs is, and I don't know if y'all have this same philosophy with your dad. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
I learned that. Yep.
Yep.
I guess so, because
You were the benefactor of that one day.
I was. So I'm glad they were of cut of that cloth too.
And I'm glad they were too, because that was pretty special right there.
That was. Forever indebted, because nothing is more valuable than a turkey in my book. So
Yeah, somebody puts you on a turkey or lets you kill
Yeah.
one of their turkeys.
They took them, and they
They like you. Yeah.
y'all went across that old boat that had a tree fall on it too, didn't
We
you?
sure
I don't see
did.
how they did. It's old John, but we were going across the backwater, and I'm gonna bet you Neil was paddling with his gun butt or something like that. Yeah,
we found a good stick too.
Yep.
He's relentless.
They
Daniel
could've
had his
drowned.
thumb in the plug, and
But they knew where the honey hole was, and they got there. And evidently, I remember the story. It was quite the hunt, not just
oh yeah,
boom, you kill one. It was quite the hunt, and it turned out to be a super turkey too.
it was
Yeah.
massive.
I know it was one of their most special hunts. I'll say that for
It
them.
was very special. I've got 5 fans separated from the rest, and there's one of the 5.
Oh, that's cool.
So
You talked about that turkey having a name. Lanny won't hardly hunt a turkey if he finds out it's got a name.
I mean, why would you do that?
hey,
Is there one that doesn't have a name?
No kidding.
Mark Womack.
I
knows
named
that.
one. I named the one on the dummy line that none of us could kill. I don't think he ever died, did he?
No. They
I
might
called
be-
him. I called him Joe Cole.
Yeah.
Joe Cool.
They sure did.
There's one out there at Cottrell Lake. I swear he's 25 years old.
Oh, yeah, right.
So one thing I want to point out before we get deep into learning more about you guys, but as we stand back and watch, and we watch a lot of folks, we're just real impressed with the way y'all handle yourselves, and you're trying to teach people the right way to do things and morals and ethics. And I just want to make sure we point that out early on. When we met we have a little pre-production meeting, that kind of bubbled up.
Yeah.
That was, so I want to make sure you guys hear what we're saying when we say that.
I certainly appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's a big deal today too. You know,
Product of a raising. So
And it's not just like, do the right thing type thing. It's a pointer to getting the most out of it. You know, it's like the best you can achieve in life through being a hunter. It's not like just like I'm preaching to you about, pointing the finger how you need to be. I'm holier than that thing. It's like literally if people just listen.
This is the most fun way to do it.
Yeah, this is how to get most joy and fun out of life and hunting and everything. There's so much more to it.
Yeah.
I know, and plus people get blinders on about it sometimes. Sometimes I guess helping them see a little bit,
Yeah, sometimes you get a little tunnel vision.
Yep,
for sure.
It will.
So how did Hunter the book thing? How did all this get started?
that was like everything we've ever done, was on a whim and kind of spur of the moment. Actually, which was that 2019, I guess it was maybe 2020, the year after Spring Legion kind of came about. I'm a big fan of Colonel Tom Kelly, and I've read several of his books, and hence Legion being in the name of the brand and everything, and a lot of subtle little hints and knickknack stuff kind of pay mind to that and everything. And really, I was sitting there, and I got in COVID. It was the year everybody and the mama got COVID, and I had 2 weeks to do nothing, and I'm not good at doing nothing. I'm not good at a lot of things, but nothing is definitely not one of them. So I'm fidgeting in the house, all cooped up and everything. And this is December, so
Lanny got COVID at the beginning of turkey season.
It was great.
So you got to get off.
It didn't phase me. I was hunting like a madman.
I don't really deer hunt.
That was a great season for me because I quarantined for most of it.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
At a secure and undisclosed location.
It was perfect timing.
I didn't miss a day's work.
You sure didn't.
I was the only one.
How would we have known? No one was here.
Yeah, you can't prove it.
He's bluffing.
All right, carry on.
Yeah, sorry.
So I was sitting there and decided to write a book, and had no idea how to write a book, but I knew some stuff that would be in a book if I were to write a book. So I started writing with those, started writing that down, and literally just wrote a bunch of stories and stuff like that. And the purpose behind it, I think, was to, whether or not I wrote it or even tried to write it, if I kind of had something on paper for folks to read, if something happens to me or something like that, and to reflect, and if something happens and I forget them one day, I'd like to read them over again. But also to connect, and that's kind of the mantra behind the Spring Legion brand, was to make sure that there is a bridge between generations of turkey hunters, and that nothing gets lost in a digital or media-driven world. That ink and paper still matter. And there's not a lot of young authors, coming up authors as much as there used to be, I'm sure, and everything's so instant and everything. So I figured it'd be worth its while to type it out and see what happens. And got to write. And you got to picture this literally on my college computer, just typing on Word. And I had a ruler and a couple books sitting there that I would measure the margins and space that many times, try to make it look like a book, and finally was able to make it look like a book page. It took the longest time to figure out how to get the daggone page numbers on there.
Yeah, I hated all that Word and Excel.
Yeah, and I'm not good at any of them. So pretty much did that and let it rip. I let my buddy Pate Demuth, who is really good friends with Kendall, actually. He was my editor because he took honors English class they would not let me take.
There you go.
So
honors English.
You're smarter than me. You can edit it.
You need to read this.
He had a lot of red marks on there. I changed some of them. I left most of them probably, and then gave it to my buddy Mason, who his family owns Quality Printing down in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, we know those guys really well.
He printed out a few paperbacks, and I said, well, now I got a book. And I accidentally released it on Amazon. Very unplanned. I was trying to get a proof and accidentally scheduled it to release, and woke up and it was a bestseller on Amazon one day. People were saying, I got your book. And I said, how, because I'm really trying to get one because I haven't
I
gotten one
need
yet.
one myself, yeah.
I'd like to have one if I can. They're like, it's on Amazon. You haven't seen it? It's everywhere. I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. It looks like I hope it's right. So,
Wow.
the rest is history, I guess.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really enjoyed reading it.
Well, I appreciate it.
A lot of good. I mean, a lot of good philosophizing. A lot of good just random tips. Like down to don't get a crinkly water bottle.
Oh,
Get a
yeah.
heavy duty one. I
That's
mean,
right.
just
Got
stuff. I mean, like so many things that you can identify with, or like, why didn't I think of that? And then again, just you share the same love so many of us have for being outside,
Right.
Yeah.
and so it hits home with so many people.
Oh, yeah.
And I love springtime. I love turkey hunting. I love shooting turkeys and seeing turkeys and stuff. But I love everything spring has to offer, from
Yep.
the birds
It's the
to
rebirth.
the blooms
Yeah.
to everything. It's
Season of
amazing.
rebirth. It's incredible.
I mean, it really is. Just
It
catching
just
the
comes and
sunrise.
goes so daggone
I was
fast.
I was pumped to have a bug hit the windshield about February
Oh yeah.
17th. I'm like, look, it's coming. It's about to get warm again.
We're the
Bugs
same
are
way.
out, and I was pumped up coming home and having a bug hit the windshield.
Okay, so we've learned a little bit about what's the future looking like. What have you got planned?
Nah, I told you we fly by the seat of our pants.
They do.
I don't know.
What's today? That's right.
Exactly. Is it April? Right now, I mean, it's which we figured out stuff that folks like. We haven't figured out how to scale it quite yet, because we just sell out of a bunch of stuff right around March 20th ish.
Yeah.
So then we just we ain't got nothing to do really. So no, I'm trying to make it a year round ordeal between casual wear and stuff like that, and then already kind of getting ready for 2026's gear stuff, which we really just the quote unquote gear and apparel and stuff we make is just stuff that I wish we have one of, and we make a lot of them and see if other folks want. Some folks don't, some folks do, and let it roll. But it's still a smaller operation. It's just us, doing it.
I see the tags and the decals, especially this time of year.
I mean, like, I went to Sturgill Simpson the other night, and I bet you I saw 40 Spring Legion hats in the audience.
Cool.
I was one of them probably if it was in Brandon.
Yeah.
I was there.
That was in South Haven.
Oh, it was?
But so a lot of the Spring Legionnaires were all over.
Oh,
It's
well,
good to see.
It's always. I was telling Rob, someone that had a bunch of them on the dash or something at the Mexican joint we was at, and I told him, I said, the one time I said something about hey, I like your hat, he looked at me like, thanks, and kind of like a creepy guy.
Who was
Just,
that guy?
he didn't know who I was. I was like, well, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
It
happens to
got
Bobby
really
all the
awkward. I was
time.
like, well,
Happens
tried
to
to be
Bobby
nice
all the
one
time.
time, and okay.
Yeah.
So now I just nod my head and say, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, let's talk turkey hunting a little bit.
Yeah.
Did y'all bring your calls? We like to call against people.
We need to hear the kiki
that we
fly
did.
down.
Well, okay. So we'll move on. Do y'all hunt a lot of public ground?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you run into a lot of other hunters? Do you have confrontations going to the same bird? And
I haven't this year.
I hadn't ran into a single person this year. I'm gonna run into 5 this week because
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
But
everybody be parked in your spot tomorrow.
do y'all have a little code of ethics that, like, if
Right.
that y'all kind of operate?
I've turned
on?
away from other trucks being there, and to avoid a
do the same.
conflict, probably.
100%. I do the same thing.
Do y'all run into people like I hear Mac does this, where you'll take and drop a truck somewhere? Mac, I'm just picking at you.
Don't be telling all the secrets, Bobby.
But there's that. I mean, that seems like a little bit of. I would be a little aggravated if I pulled up and somebody had just parked a vehicle there, not hunting there.
You just got to feel their motor and see if it's
Yeah, see if
warm.
it's warm.
Well, they drove over there probably, but then they got in the truck with
Not
somebody
necessarily.
They
No,
may have
they could've
taken it
dropped
the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
Come on,
Bobby.
Okay, well,
He
yeah.
can tell he's hunting all the private
Private
land.
land.
He's
No doubt.
he's actually searching for information.
Yeah, he is.
He's wanting to be a public land hunter.
He did put in for some public hunts this year.
and didn't draw
Didn't draw.
MDWF&P. What's going on?
He sure didn't.
Well, do y'all have any tips for hunting pressured birds? Something that you guys have figured out that, boy, this works for us.
Ooh, it depends on the bird, really.
Always different. Yeah.
More than anything, I'm trying to think.
You know, listening to on a lot of these forums, Dudley's, you're in chat rooms all the time. You probably hear this, but I'm hearing guys say that they're not gobbling on the ground at all.
Yeah. That's
I
kind
mean,
of what we've been
at
running
all.
into.
They ain't got to.
That's true.
There's a one in Alabama. I pay attention.
I've been
to.
hearing a lot of that this season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we've just had the study, talking about pressure on public land and how they're not going to gobble as much, and it's in a direct effect of how many people are going in there. So, I mean, I will say, I think it seems like there's more turkey hunters now than there's ever been. I think, which is a great thing for the resource. Kind of bad for some of my spots, but we'll get through
It's all good if everybody, if collectively, it's hard to do. If we hunt in and around what's best for them, then
you're right.
Bring it on.
That's
as long as
right.
everybody, and it really, it's hard to do it by state, although that's what we go by, and thank God we do. But it's a property to property thing. And so more and more, honestly, never used to be a consideration that I heard of.
No.
Say 25 years ago. But today, some of the people we don't know that have places, they have a club, they collectively say, hey, we're going to kill 6, that's it. And so, nobody more than one. And, they try to do what's best for the place to continue to have good hunting instead of just, this like one's gobbling, we got to kill him. If he's, it's evolved. I think it's healthy. But still, and I'm on pulpit right now, but it's the same gamekeeper thing.
Yeah.
It's a property to property thing to do what's best for our critters. It's not going to just only happen by some big wand of the government or something. And so I love seeing everybody take the matters into their own hands and taking care of stuff better and better. If you don't, that's cool. I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to point out what can lead to a better life out there doing it.
For everybody.
I'll get off the soapbox, but it's fun to see so many people taking care of their place better than ever.
Yep.
I think they are.
Y'all ever seen Toxic Soapbox?
I like that. Pumped up now.
Yeah. They'll do it now.
Well, I can say it because they represent it. I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. I'm sure I do. I don't mean to. But it's making a difference is what I'm getting at. I'm excited because it is making a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are y'all hunting? So I'm assuming you probably got some land you lease and whatnot. You have some. It might be in a club or something. But do y'all hear other people doing that, saying, "Hey, we're just going to try to kill 3 on this place"?
Yes, sir.
More and more.
It's getting more common for people to do a quote unquote inventory. I'd say. And
we can do it now. You couldn't
can
use
now.
it with the cameras. But I tell you, take a note from the people who have to make a living out there. Some of the best outfitters and guides will have multiple properties, and the ones I know of, I won't call any names necessarily. And they'll have an inventory, so to speak, as much as they can. And they're like, no matter who pays them to go, they're going to do like 3 off this, 1 off that, 4 off that, whatever it is. And then that's it. Because, and they look at everything. Of course, having a lot of jakes helps a lot. But they're looking at that to keep a good number huntable. And it's also, you're going to just get more success. It's pretty much proven through research. If you have more gobblers still there, instead of trying to kill them all, you're going to continue to hatch more turkeys too. Right. So it's, when you're actually having to make a living doing it, that's someone you ought to take a nod on because it hits you in a different place.
Lashley was talking yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, about how each one of those eggs in the clutch can have a different father, but undoubtedly a lower percentage of them come out as stronger poults. So it kind of goes back to that conversation about the more dominant male turkey. Kind of interesting. I go back and forth on that so much.
You guys do a podcast. I pay attention to it, and there's so many people now that are paying attention to the miracle of getting an egg hatched and a poult raised and it turning into a 2.5-year-old bird out there gobbling. It's a miracle to get that. And I didn't know that a few years ago till we kind of started talking to the Chamberlains and the Lashleys.
Yeah, the odds are
like less than 1% or something.
Yep.
We were talking about 90% don't make it out of the nest. 90% of those that do make it out of the nest don't make it to flight. And then, but I think 90% that make it to flight make it to adult.
And day 14 is a big deal,
big
or whatever
deal.
that is.
Yeah, it's a really big deal.
Dudley, you got a question for him?
Every time you say that,
I can go.
my built-in question just disappears out of my head.
What happened? Yeah. Y'all have obviously spent a lot of time in the woods, and this is kind of a philosophical thing. But can you kind of enlighten us on some of the lessons that you've learned, or some of the best lessons you've learned from the turkey woods?
You want me to go first?
Yep.
I learned a lot. I learn every I try to learn something every time I go out there. And a lot of times I do, especially if you're looking for it. If you don't know what you listening for, you ain't gonna hear it. You don't know what you're looking for, you ain't gonna see it. You don't know what you're trying to do, you ain't gonna learn it. So I try to go out there and learn something from them. Trying to think of a more recent one. I was hunting with a buddy the other day, and we was coming down. I made a pit stop in Tennessee, and he was calling actually. So and it was kind of going back to what you said earlier. It is easier if two people are hunting who don't hunt together a lot. If one person takes the reins and one doesn't try to show off, like, oh, I can call too. I can call better. So I was like, you roll with it, brother. I'll chime in if I need to, and I believe we would have known when that moment would have come, but we didn't have to. But turkey was having to come downhill a little bit, but luckily it was on the other side of the little hedgerow, and it had done the notorious stop and periscoped in a big gap in those bushes and stuff, and he was still about 70 or something, and he let it get about 3 steps over, and I didn't know he could even see the bird. And he might not have done it on purpose. I don't know. It might have just been grand design and just luck, but he letting it get 4 or 5 steps on the other side of that hedgerow before making a call, where now his options are, walk 75 more yards to come around it behind us, or the quickest route is 4 steps back and then come back down, and it did, and got within 40 right there. So that was something I'm gonna put in my back pocket, was making sure they get past whatever that opening is, because that's just a scenario I have not had. So,
I never even thought about that. Yeah,
until it happens, you don't think about it a lot of times.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, one I can think of, I actually kind of noticed I was doing it, and the guy I was hunting with this last week in Georgia pointed out that was kind of an odd thing for somebody to say. We were walking in on a bird we had hunted the night before. He had, had about 10 square he wouldn't get off of, and just drummed and drummed and drummed, would not break, and we couldn't move. So did that, and then we were like, all right, we know where he's going to get, and that's his, because he's been there 3 days in a row. So we're like, he's not getting off that. That was his soapbox. Yeah. We'll say that. Yeah. So he didn't get off of his square. So we went and did a move on him, and going in that morning, just as you'd watch sunlight, walking through sunlight, walking around the woods and whatnot, staying in the shadows, we were staying in the moonlight, or not the moonlight, in the shadows of the moonlight. And then he wanted to sit on a tree, and I said, no, don't sit on that tree. Let's sit on that one, because there's some gum trees on the side of you that the sun's coming up, and we'll be in the shade. Without the sun even being up, I remembered that direction is going to be what lights up first. Let's get something between us and where the sun's going to pop up in that open field to our right. And he kind of, I saw him look at me a little funny, and then on the walk out, he said, nobody's ever mentioned that to me before. Yeah. And I'd never really thought about it. It's just something I've always kind of done. Try to pay attention to that walking in the dark.
Sat on the wrong side of the tree, and all of a sudden the sun comes up and it's glaring on you, and you're in a bind there.
You're in a bind.
No, it's hard. It's hard to judge.
It is hard to judge.
Now, one thing for sure I learned a long time ago, and I always do, if you're going and you ease up and you just going to sit down and call or sit for a while, remember that the sun's always moving. So people will sit in the shade, and then, in 15 minutes they're in the bright sun again. So sit where, it's going from left to right. So sit where you're in the edge of the shade so that you'll be in it the longest. But if you sit down right in that shade in the middle of it or on the edge, it won't be long. You'll be in bright sunshine if you're not careful.
Yeah, it's going to get you.
There's old mossy oak spot where you're talking about the sun moving.
See these people? When the clock strikes 5, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. They have to do these things. They have to do those things. Enter the all-new LS Tractor MT2 and MT2E, a relentless force of innovation, redesigned with a new hood and cab built for comfort and visibility, with enhanced lifting capacity to get the job done, making these people the ones everyone else calls those people. Visit your local LS Tractor dealer today.
Lanny, we're always in here. We always have these interesting guests, and you're always on your computer. What's up?
I'm looking at Onyx the whole time. I love that, but I love the desktop too.
My favorite thing is Bobby doesn't know how to shut his computer down, so I can go in there and share his pins to my account.
That's what you were doing in there this morning.
Yep.
Back during deer season, I shot a couple of big bucks.
Of course.
As I'm looking for them, I can turn on this tracking feature.
Yeah.
And I can see where I've looked.
And I use that feature too for spreading spreading seed, spreading fertilizer, spraying. It really keeps you on track.
Onyx is a great company. Look, we know Jared. They're hunters,
They
just
are.
like we are.
Yes,
So they're
no
serious
doubt
about
about
this. The way they've designed this thing, a hunter and a gamekeeper can take advantage of it and make their property better.
Use coupon code Mossy Oak to save 20% off of your Onyx subscription.
Yeah, and Mac, you shouldn't do that now. Richie, you got to help me. Okay.
Hey y'all, Jimbo here with Drake Waterfowl and Old Tom Turkey, talking about some of our new turkey stuff for this spring. We want to start with the early bird collection with Vital Protection Technology, our newest, most innovative collection of technical hunting apparel designed for turkey hunters. It helps in the prevention of tick-borne illnesses such as Lyme disease and alpha-gal syndrome. It's good for up to 70 washings. It's lightweight, breathable stretch fabric with antimicrobial technologies. Be sure and check it out at a dealer near you or drakewaterfowl.com/Old Tom.
I want to know, triplets pastured or bombing range?
I've never heard of those.
I know, right? No, I want to hear about how just the traveling's been. I mean, y'all have hunted a few different states this year. I mean, California.
Ooh.
I mean, just to hear some of those hunts and how the birds were different or if they were the same or how those were.
Yeah. Me and my buddy Gary Stanton went out to California farthest I've ever went to hunt a turkey. I can guarantee you that. But they got Rios out there, and Gary's a good turkey hunter. I was actually with him when he kind of got back into turkey hunting. So we were down in Mississippi 2020, I think, and was with him. We made a day of it on and off rain and the very such a low hilly area of Mississippi, very steep stuff. And I think this was his first time going back turkey hunting since he was like 16 or something like that. So, and he was along for it every step of the way. I don't know if we heard a gobble the next day. He killed one, by 8 o'clock, came in on a string, gobbled every step of the way, and he ain't looked back. Again. I mean, he is. You talk about eat up with it. But no, so we try to make a good trip every year and get together, and we went out there, and they got Rios out there. So they acted a lot like Rios, and noticed that, really the only two terrain types of California looks a lot like maybe even North Nebraska, the cliffy looking stuff, and then South Texas. I mean, in a matter of miles, can look like both of them somehow, but was able to find a spot that had that we kind of started connecting some dots. Was like, I think they're going to be in these areas, and they wound up being there, and that proved to be true. And really, it was once we got in them, it was. I did not realize how many other folks hunted in California. I in my mind didn't think that would be a worry of ours, but we got walked up on a couple times, but other folks very understanding and stuff like that. No, we were in them, and they acted like they hadn't been hunted all year. It was opening day, so it was fun to get a new opening day, so to speak.
Yeah,
that's a long way to go.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Have you ever hunted California?
I have killed a turkey in California.
I thought you had.
Sure have.
Did you go with Bob?
No,
he killed one out there.
Yeah, Bob killed one out there, but it was years and years ago when out there hunting the country. But yeah, it was great. It was great.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, the guy.
It was on the TV.
I never forget it. The turkey was gobbling across the creek, and the guy was like, "What are we gonna do?" I said, "Well, we gonna cross that creek." And he's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, we getting wet. Get out of the way." And we went on over there, and it was a good hunt for sure. It's fun.
Were y'all hunting around a vineyard or something?
No, I don't think so.
I've heard some of those vineyards.
Now we
have a lot
at
of treasure.
the Foxhole event, we give away a turkey hunt in a vineyard.
We did.
Year.
And I'm sure we can always be able to do
Maybe
that,
not. Excuse me. Yeah, we
have
past.
before.
Have in the
Yep.
past.
Some actually, I think don't call any names, but they became friends with us through the kennels. They had puppies.
That's right.
And
They had
Mr. Gibson
puppies.
got to be buddies with them and helping them, coaching them with some training stuff and all. And then next thing you know, they offered up a trip to the vineyards, and it brought a pretty good bit of money.
Yeah. Raise some money for the
It
kids.
sure did.
So,
A trip to the vineyard and, a turkey hunt.
yeah, that'd be pretty good.
That would
Maybe
be.
you could talk your
I
wife
should have
into
done it.
that.
I might could.
Yeah, you might could do
She'd
that.
like half of that anyway.
Yeah. Vineyard, yes.
So, what state would be y'all's favorite to hunt in?
Right
Yeah,
here.
well, Mississippi.
Right here.
I can buy that. But so, what would be your second favorite state?
Yeah, that's
Alabama.
I like Alabama. There's a lot like Mississippi.
That's the one time I say roll tide, baby.
Yeah.
And so, where's the toughest turkeys you've hunted? Mississippi.
Right here.
Yeah.
Mississippi.
Either one. You can pick either one for that.
Oh, Jim Ronquest was here with Drake. Was it last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a hunt. We hunted, and I was like, "How'd your hunt go this morning?" He's like, "Man, hens, turkeys, gobbling, flew down." And he said, "For a second, I thought it was going to happen. Then I remembered I was in Mississippi." He said, "This ain't gonna happen."
Why are they so much tougher here? What y'all's opinion? We've got a thought on that.
Well,
We do have a thought on that.
I think it's in their DNA.
Yeah,
But,
that's about our thought.
I mean, there's no question they come from older stock, but that doesn't
Right.
necessarily make them that way. Honestly, most of these turkeys were originated over on the Mississippi River, I think. And I noticed the ones here, they just congregate so much more. You go somewhere and the geography scatters them out more, and it's not so. They're not so tough necessarily. Right. I mean, turkeys are turkeys if they get hunted hard or whatever. But around here, it's so frustrating because they'll be all up and down these drainages and too congregated, and it's hard to find one that doesn't have hens with them. Or if you can later in the season, actually, it gets a lot better around here if you hadn't been pounded yet.
Right. And I think that has to do somewhat with the amount of turkey hunters in Mississippi.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no
it's-
question. That's the sad
I
thing
agree
is,
100%.
and I hope this isn't a sign for how many hunters we have, and they won't do right. But 20 years ago, you could ride around in the county and all around. You would see your drive up. You didn't know telling how many turkeys
you see
strutting in the back
turkeys,
of a field or something, and you almost never see them anymore.
Right.
No.
I agree.
I mean, we used to see them all
Coming
the time
back a little
from
bit, but
Alabama.
oh
It's hard to
gosh.
see 'em now. It is.
We don't know if that's a numbers thing or an avian predators thing or
Or the pressure thing.
Or the human predator thing
Human
too.
pressure.
Probably a combination. Things are usually a combination of stuff.
correct.
No doubt.
Yeah. Do y'all think? I'm kind of asking the whole room here, Mac too. Richie, you wake up, Richie. if you
Richie,
would.
wake up.
But do y'all? So, boy, he loves to aggravate me.
We all do. Are you kidding me?
So-
we live for it.
Yeah, I've always heard stories about somebody getting dropped off at this place and picked up later, maybe send text messages.
Oh, I can assure you that
happens.
our local officers will. That's fact.
Is that still going on? much?
Absolutely.
Do y'all hear
They
about
say
it
it happens a
all the
lot.
time?
It happened about March 22nd or so this year. Me and Gary was hunting at Logan Cook. Y'all remember Logan Cook?
Oh, yeah.
Hunted up here.
Big biologic guy.
Mm-hmm.
We like old Logan.
We were hunting with him, and the place he had permission down in South Mississippi, down Columbia, and sure enough, this one was hammering. And it was one they saw the evening before. It wasn't. I mean, it was late afternoon or so. And Logan's got a rule that if he shoots one, don't shoot a gobbler on the same place, same day, and that goes across the board. And we already knew that and everything. And I wasn't with them the day before, but Gary was, and so they really just backed out on this other gobbler that they wound up seeing or hearing one or another. And so we came back in. I came in with Logan, and Gary walks out. I was like, I didn't know you were coming. I was like, I didn't really either until about 9 o'clock last night when Logan called me, and I met him down there. And so I'm sitting next to Gary, and this bird's hammered. It's right where he told us, they last saw him. It wasn't far as the nearest trees. Right after all them tornadoes came through on the 15th. And this was a spot that the tornado came through. I mean, trees everywhere.
Wow.
And sure enough, it was a good morning too. It was crisp, and that turkey blew it out the water. And right before he went to fly down, we heard a boom, and it echoed so far because everything was just all around you. And I knew what it was. I wasn't sure if Gary knew what it was, and I think he got the gist of what just happened. And then you hear tires squalling down on the road down there,
no.
and it was a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So it's still going on, unfortunately.
Yeah, it happens.
Got to hear it firsthand.
Goodness
Not
gracious.
cool.
That's
No.
yeah. I'd like to think that has slowed down some with
I hope so.
cell cameras and whatnot. I mean, I feel like there's so many cameras out there now. I mean,
I would think.
I would think too.
get a picture of somebody for sure.
And I left that day. I don't know, they might have called him by 3 o'clock that day. There's a lot of other people around that area, so they might have, one tip could probably do the trick right there. Cleaning up the debris and stuff. I'm sure somebody saw what truck it was.
What about, so I'm going to ask you what's in your turkey vest. What's your go-to call? You mentioned slate. I could tell already you like a slate call.
There's a glass. I call them all slates, but
Yeah.
Cody too.
Cody too.
Mm-hmm.
Spec too.
Since I've been able to use one. That's
Green
all I use.
glass.
Mm-mm.
Not green glass.
The whitish color.
White.
Why?
We did that show with Bill Zirin.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good comments about people. There's a lot of young people that just didn't know what
I can
all
talk
he had
about it.
done.
I used to never tell anybody what kind of call that was because I wanted to buy them if I saw one.
Yeah.
I didn't want folks to know they existed. But when I saw y'all did that podcast with them, and I was like, well, now they're going to buy them so I can talk about it now.
Yeah.
I do use
He's a
Cody.
craftsman.
Yep.
Golly, I mean, if you see this man's hands, it's amazing what he can do with it.
That was
It
my
really
favorite
is.
podcast to listen to right there. I've been waiting a long time to hear that one.
Yeah, he's a great guy too.
He really is. And you know what? I heard, thanks to Neil, I heard that his wife is clean of cancer.
Oh, that's
Wow.
great
So
news. Hit the
that-
horn. There you go, Richie.
That's awesome. So,
That's awesome.
That's really good.
Yeah, I've
stuff.
got a red slate, a Cody with red slate on it, and it
Mm-hmm.
sounds so good.
Yeah, you know, if people out there, if they want to own a piece of history along with a great call, that's the Cody. That's
It is.
it. That's the one.
Absolutely.
So look him up. He's still making them.
Yeah,
Thank
I think
goodness.
I think it's a little effort to get in touch with him. 'Cause I think you need to call him now.
Yeah, he took his website down. He said it was just too many people trying to find him that way.
He's a mess.
He is a mess.
Yeah.
He's a mess.
So,
Great family.
what else is in your vest? Let's empty out your vest real quick here and tell us what you.
Wait a minute. That's personal. Bobby.
Yeah.
Well, there ain't much in it. We got that. I got 2 strikers. Both of them are Cody strikers. That's just
You
there.
just carry the one slate?
Mhm.
Wow.
What if something happens to it?
I'm gonna buy 'em.
Well, you
No, I got-
lose.
I got-
That's your only call.
Right.
obviously.
I got a pouch of mouth calls in there, and I do keep a very small box call, which will differ in the kind of it is. I just like a small one just in case, and one that'll cut real sharp
Yeah.
in the wind and stuff like that. And then other than that, I got one of them water bladders because, like you said, I do not like crinkling water bottles, and worse than crinkling water bottles is sloshing water because then that almost sounds like the break of a turkey's gobble every time it sloshes left or right, and it kind of throws me off. But other than that, that's for the most part that's
And a
it.
wing.
Oh yeah, I got a wing.
have a wing.
I went
Gotta
two,
have a
Wang.
I
Gotta
went
have
2
a
hunts
wing.
without one of them wings this year.
You
and
got
I
a wang for
thought I
your
never
wang
hunted.
bone?
Dude, it's a turkey killing thing. It really
I was
is.
lost. I'd never turkey hunted before in my life. It
Yeah.
felt like not
Yeah.
having a wing in my vest for 2 hunts this year. I
Yeah.
didn't know what to do.
When do you use it besides fly down? Simulating a fight or?
I'll use it if I'm near a creek and stuff like that. If they won't gobble, and I don't want to
Pitch
really,
across.
announce the sex of the turkey I'm being at one time. I'll walk a good ways and try to, you can get a route built in your mind of which way they might be going. Get in front of them a little bit and do a couple pops on it, going over a creek, just hopping, and stuff like that. And sometimes it comes in handy scratching, but a lot of times I use my hand or back of my foot if needed. But sometimes that sounds like a guy
Trying to
using his
sound
hand.
natural moving around in the woods.
And just they'll pop their wings like that every now and
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Sometimes they'll get you one guy. You ain't gonna get 2 guys. You ain't gonna call him in with it, but you might get the kind of if you're trying to check him. Sometimes that'll work when you don't really want to spoil too much or let him know exactly where you're at. But that's
I
about
tell you,
it.
they can sound like a real hen flying down if you
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
do
Absolutely.
one
good.
correctly.
Very
the
much.
people that really
I
know
mean,
how
I
to
don't
do
carry
them.
one, but I have tried them. I would imagine you got to really make it fast enough to sound like when you got to cut it down pretty small, don't you?
Yes, because mine is not all the way down just yet. I had to try it. I don't know why I didn't try it with the scissors in my hand, but I
Right.
cut it down. I eyeballed it, and then it was kind of like a whoo, whoo,
Yeah,
whoo,
exactly.
So I had to go back and redo. Really, I got to breaking them off in the woods just in case I needed it that day. I wasn't waiting until I got to some scissors.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of controversy about that. There certainly is about fanning, though.
No, wing. I mean, shoot.
Well, it's just honestly, it's going to
always
end up
used-
getting one of these days. It's going to come down to the safety factor because if one, and it has happened, if one person gets shot really bad or killed, maybe
Yeah, it's already happened.
then it shouldn't happen. You know,
it's
so
already, especially-
that one's coming at some point. I feel like they've already changed some states and made reaping illegal,
What
which
state was
means
that?
like
Was it
South
Carolina?
Carolina.
South Carolina. I think there's someone else that's followed it. I'm not sure, but which I'm assuming that's like getting behind the fan or
Yeah, that's
walking
how
up
they
on
defined
one
it.
type of
Walking
stuff.
with
Yeah.
your, and I think you can still fan, but you can't
Yeah,
walk
but boy,
around.
I know of quite a few people getting shot.
To each their own. I prefer to use sounds to call
Right.
a turkey.
I do
Right.
too.
Same.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be the arbiter of justice on that. I'm saying the danger part of it
Yes.
might get it outlawed.
Isn't there a story? We can even talk about this, but a guy that was hunting with another guy and he shot him.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Oh yeah,
There's
Yes.
been a lot of stories.
a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been chasing one pretty hard to try to get him on podcast.
And that's what
talk to us.
Well, the point to everybody is whatever you do, it's your business.
Safety
be
first.
Careful. Please be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very much.
So, Hunter, a minute ago, you mentioned the water bottle making a noise. It kind of sounded like a gobble breaking. I got to tell this, and Toxie will agree with me 1,000%. If you ever hunt with Lanny, you'll be walking, you'll be 4 or 5 yards apart.
we go.
And it'll be quiet, and you'll be trying to listen. And Lanny, what do you do?
Man.
He does that all the time.
I love it.
That
He gets
wasn't
him
that,
every time.
That wasn't that impressive. But let me tell you, at about 4 or 5 yards in the woods,
I'll do it real
a little bit.
soft.
Of, yeah, a little bit. Of, it's pretty.
And then when you look around, he'll be like,
He plays it all.
Can't help it.
Oh,
Keep them on
man.
their toes.
yeah. You just got to cut a big stick and hit him every now
He
and then.
done tried on me for some reason, Bobby. I don't know why.
I do not do it on you.
He does it on me constantly. We probably missed a real gobble at some point just because.
He'll
Man.
whoop around and I'll go.
Oh, wow.
Man, he's testy today.
So, Chase, your vest, would it be very similar?
I actually dropped the vest about 2 seasons ago.
There you
so
go.
I'm
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
I'm not against it, and I will be probably picking one back up because I've started realizing that there's a few things I wish I had a little bit more.
I did the
common
same
now.
thing. And then Fox Fest came back, I vested back up.
So are you toting a ditty bag or a man purse or whatever you want to call it?
Satchel.
Yeah, I've
satchel?
got one of those
Yeah.
leafy suits with the kangaroo pouch, and it stays
Okay.
pretty full.
Yeah.
I've got a little. I've got a old vest seat cushion that is on a bino harness that goes on my back, so it's in the right spot. And then I got the mouth call pouch and a wing bone, and that's about all I carry 90% of the time. But if I feel frisky, I'll throw the slate call in my shirt pocket,
There you go.
so or glass call or whatever.
You gotta have a vest.
But
So, yeah.
I'm a-
Thermacell or bug spray?
Thermocells is clipped on the belt.
There you go.
So, but that's and then a water bladder in my pocket.
Yeah.
So it's a little small compact biker's bladder or something is what it's called.
I'm
So
gonna
you
tell you
need
what,
a
that
vest,
water
is
is
what you're
critical out there, especially with your mouth open.
Right.
I mean, you be
Yeah.
like,
You get that cotton mouth, it's over with.
just
So
like,
you're borderline minimalist here.
I guess, yeah. Which a lot of that came from us filming and trying to attempting to film. I'm not going to say we filmed very well, but toting around a camera and a shotgun, I didn't need any extra weight, especially if I was hunting with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I just carry the bare minimums, and I kind of realized all this other stuff.
I like being nimble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I found myself out of my vest 90% of the time. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'll just leave it at
It's
be
getting
out
serious
of
when you
it
throw that
100%
vest
of
off.
the
I'm
time.
gonna take this thing off for a minute.
Uh-huh.
I need to weigh mine one day because I've
been putting rocks in it every time.
Well, I check for that. But if you're a minimalist, I must be a maximal. I have 2 of everything
He sure
that I
does.
might need.
But if you ever need anything, he's got it.
Yeah. And that's how I was for years.
Yeah.
And it's very odd for me to not have everything I need. And I may have a roll of electrical tape with me. That's another thing that's going to be in my side pocket.
Ah.
So I just fix a lot of stuff in the woods. Everything that breaks, I've got electric tape. So with cameras and stuff too, that's a big thing.
Yeah, it is.
Taping up wires or
How many
tripods or whatever.
How many days a year y'all hunting?
As many as possible.
Yeah.
Did y'all hunt this morning?
We didn't.
I
It was
got
a
back
pretty
from Louisville,
morning.
and I know it. And I walked out and went, "Dadgummit, I did
Yeah,
not know
should've
that."
went. I did the same thing.
I still got one in my pocket for Mississippi.
Yep. So I think last year I hunted every day of Mississippi's year except the ones I was gone. So if I was traveling, those were the only ones I missed. Now it was rough
Yeah.
because I didn't hear turkey every day.
That'll change when you get old.
On the
Yeah,
on the
it will.
business end of things, are you guys doing this full time?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
sir.
that's
sir.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
Had to have some stuff to tend to. I've been to Kentucky and Tennessee past couple of days, so
yeah.
today and tomorrow probably gonna get some stuff figured out and back on cruise control as much as possible for the next. Goes in 2-day spurts. You know, you get you can hunt for 2 days, but then something's gonna bring you back for 2 days.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Wow. Dudley, did you think of your question?
I was wanting to talk to him about business. Well, where are y'all going with this? Are y'all gonna just keep rolling, trying to introduce something new every year? And
Just as long as we can, you
Yeah,
know.
keep
There you
winging
go.
it.
Wing it. There you go.
The purpose behind it was just to provide something that was just a way of life that we grew up learning to be, and something to just kind of put the mantra of turkey hunting into a something that puts turkey hunting first, and it's just turkey hunting. So a lot of folks cut from the cloth that we were cut from, that we've learned, it's not quite as few as we thought. So just something for them, and as long as they're out there, we'll be around.
I wish we could twist your arm to get you to write a column in our Gamekeeper magazine.
You gave me a free hat. That's all I needed.
There you go. He's in.
Good enough.
Yeah, I think
do
that'd be
it.
good. But I mean, going into spring, I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I like it. It's not work.
Yeah.
I like doing that.
And no deer. No
Bobby's
fur.
just trying to suck
No,
you
don't
in.
even- don't
and
even-
Bobby's
Too
trying to
much.
have y'all. He's trying to have y'all around more to get GPS coordinates.
That's
So
right.
just keep
He
your
will
guard.
hit you up. Just
Yeah.
get ready.
Keep your guard up at all times.
Well,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Do you deer hunt?
He
I
does.
do.
You do?
Yeah.
He's good at
I
it.
hunt a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
A hunter's pretty tough to find in the woods.
Hunter,
in,
do you eat
December.
deer meat? You like fried deer
If
meat?
they kill it, I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. And
That just means I get to
Right.
Take
to
care
shoot
of
one
it.
more.
I'll
Yeah.
pay for it to get processed. If we don't get processed stuff, it's just I'm busy during those. That's when I do all the work then, so I can
Yeah.
do what I do now.
I thought I noticed Chase lusting on.
Yeah, he's looking
Oh,
over
yeah.
at Hercules. When,
I thought I saw that.
Oh, Hercules. Yeah.
And Hunter, you're married,
I am.
and Chase, you're single.
Correct. I have a girlfriend, but that's,
Okay,
that's
you
it.
do have a
So,
girlfriend.
All right.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
So
Does she turkey hunt?
she does not. She's
You might want to keep it that way.
yeah. That's
Just like-
she's asked me a time or two. I'm like yeah. You
It's bugs. and
You
stuff.
probably don't want to do it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know some folks partners turkey hunt just as much, and
Yeah.
some don't. It can work either
Yeah.
way.
No, it
you
works. Yeah.
I
It
took
does.
mine a couple times last year, and she's pretty.
She likes
Wound
it.
up being good, and I'm like, okay,
Uh-huh.
now we're in a bind here. Didn't know you were gonna catch on like that,
You're
but
not supposed
she's
to
been
like
paying
this.
attention, listening to the podcast, I guess.
Well, just
It's
put
fun doing it with them though.
a tick on her, and that'll float.
I'm
things
thinking
down.
about that. Gave her an empty can of Prometheus and said, just have at it.
Mac, what should we be asking these guys?
I mean, I think y'all have had some good conversations. I mean, it's really cool just to see, some local guys that
Yeah.
we're all friends with, and I mean, appreciate what they do, and I mean, it's really cool. It makes me proud to be from Mississippi.
That's right. Me too.
The whole social media thing. I mean, we kind of straddle the fence. We have to do some things for work to get, to keep our brand
Well, it's a
out
great
there.
communication tool.
But it's also, we don't want to just it all be about showing a picture of a dead critter. We're wanting to help people be able to enhance their properties and whatnot. And so I watch what you guys do, and I mean, yours. The Spring Legion. I don't get that vibe from you that y'all are trying to kill something to make a post.
Right. That'll never be the goal or the objective of going hunting. And that was the first rule made in the back of my mind was killing turkeys will never decide my livelihood or anything like that. That'll not if it takes the fun out of it or there's a have to or got to mention at all. We're gonna stop and ask why.
Yeah.
You just said that kind of deal. So because it's about hunting it more than it is about bringing one back. I mean, I like killing turkeys. That's why I go out there. But nah, and I'm not the best at social media either. I used to be better than I am somehow. I guess
You're getting old.
I think it is.
Yeah, you are aging, yeah.
I feel like it. So I don't keep up with it as much as I should. But that's how it became a thing. So I gotta like it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, what y'all are doing is working, and you're doing it exactly how you want to.
That's important.
Not many people can say the same.
I'm very blessed.
Yep.
Lanny,
Bob.
we're 100% on our trivia questions.
Yes, we
So
are.
I
Are you going to
ask-
ask us a trivia question?
Hunter has brought a trivia
Oh,
question
man.
to see if they can stump us.
We'll see.
And, before you go out there, Richie or Mac, somebody's got to.
Wait a minute. It can't be oddball. It's got to be relevant at least. Come on.
Yeah, they don't need to ask us
Yeah.
about something we don't know anything
Well,
about.
we edit those out.
Yeah, that's why we're 100%.
So I've got. We
Oh,
got.
look at it. Look, Richie, look out.
We got
Paper coming
two
from
folks that
everywhere.
have won a prize there, Mike.
Well, you just need to start reading these. I can't read your handwriting.
I
mean, it's
Nobody can read Bobby's handwriting.
He told me this morning, he goes, I can't even read
That
my own
stays.
handwriting. He literally did.
I
Wasn't that this
did. I
morning?
was looking at my
He's
calendar
looking at
going,
the calendar. I
what
was like, I
does...
can't even tell what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay, so our trivia question, guys. Do y'all like boiled peanuts? We've got a new sponsor,
Yeah.
the Peanut Patch.
You seen those in the convenience store?
Oh,
They're
yeah,
delicious.
yeah.
The
I
Cajun
have to
ones,
say
I
they
really
are
love 'em.
really good.
They're
are.
delicious,
And
especially
they're-
if you got some kids. Throw some cans in the truck.
They're everywhere. You can go into a grocery store and buy them.
Walmart, convenience
they're good
stores. They
stuff.
got the big kettles everywhere.
I keep a set of baby wipes in the glove box, not just for
Emergency.
emergencies, but so I can pull over and get boiled peanuts on the road and eat them, and then just keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
High protein too, Bobby.
They
I know
are.
you're on that keto diet.
And we also have to keep an EpiPen in here because Mac
Oh,
is
really?
allergic.
Unfortunately.
So we're looking for an EpiPen sponsor. If anybody's-
If you know anybody, come and holler at us. Yeah.
So two folks have won a Newcomb blind. Smith Hunting in, this is the one I bet Matt couldn't read, ERVESH.
What?
They left a review. Toxie, are you sleepy?
It's that time of year.
It is that time of year.
So look, guys, get in touch with us. Y'all won a Newcomb blind. Those things are really nice. There's one setting up over
And there was 2 winners?
There's 2 winners, yeah. And you know the guy
Smith Hunting and what was the other one?
ERVESH. I hope that doesn't say something like nasty or something.
I just wrote it down, and I can't make anything out of it. So
Yeah, I don't know either.
But they won nonetheless.
They did.
All right.
Yeah, they sure did. So with that said, you got a chance to
Here we go.
Well, actually, I'm coming off a weekend with Dr. Chamberlain, so I
Oh,
learned a whole lot of
gosh.
things
Here
about
we
the wild
go.
turkey. Shot one, and we were able to pick it apart and stuff. But this was actually one he mentioned on our podcast. So if the listeners have listened to ours, they're going to know the answer to this. There's some I did not know.
Did somebody listen to their podcast?
I bet not.
Yeah.
So the technical, the biological name, he said of the wild turkey is Meleagris gallopavo, pavo, however you say it. And for the Eastern it is Meleagris gallopavo sylvestris. Do y'all know what sylvestris means?
Dudley,
Dudley.
this is you, Dudley.
Looking right at you.
I do.
All right.
Trees.
All right.
Forest is what he said. Yep.
Boom. We're still 100%.
Dudley.
Good. Silviculture.
What a team.
Dudley is
I mean-
Dudley is my phone a friend every day.
There you go, Doug.
Killing it. All right. We
that's-
remain undefeated.
We do.
I didn't know if he was in anguish or he looks like the guy who just got the $1 million question on the show, right? He made the yes. I got it.
Yeah.
That goes.
Meleagris gallopavo sylvestris.
Sylvestris.
How about that?
Of the
I
trees.
don't know the name. I guess Osceola
Miriami?
Miriamii or something.
Intermedia is Rio, I think.
Intermedia.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
What's Rio?
Intermedia, I think is.
I think that's right.
Okay.
And then Golds is I don't know.
Golds.
Goldsy eye. I don't know.
Are y'all chasing the 49 states? You doing any of that?
Not really.
Chasing whatever's open.
Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
going as long as we can hunt them.
Well,
I like that.
well, we've enjoyed meeting y'all.
Yeah.
We are fans of the Gamekeeper podcast, so this is a big deal
thank
being
you.
here.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Right back at you. But we always love hearing nice things said about us. We don't get that very often, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Oh, boy.
occasionally.
Occasionally. Every now and
Is there anything else, Lanny, you can think of? Have y'all got a question for us?
You're the question guy.
Chase looks like
Maybe some off-air stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm sure Tox will add to this, but we're impressed with what y'all doing. We appreciate the way you handle yourselves.
And I'm
100%.
very understanding of the journey they're on, and I'm looking at. I actually wasn't as familiar as I was looking today, and putting products in people's hands. That is not easy,
No, it's not.
and especially the way they do it is from the heart kind of stuff. Following your heart, so to speak. I mean, you got to be smart about it. So I know that process from having lived it myself so many years ago. Can't imagine today. There used to be many domestic options. Sadly, there are very few today for producing stuff and clothing and whatnot. So anyway, my hat's off. I know what a struggle that is, and of course, anything we can do to ever help with that, let me know.
We appreciate
I guarantee
very
you,
much.
my two have been helped with that a bunch.
They
I
have.
guarantee you, they are big fans of y'all. Honestly, they're secondary fans of your brand as much as, and that's as a big compliment as they are of y'all, the friend. You know, it means a lot. It really does. That's
Farrior
very cool.
boys.
That's right.
They've been a big help, and we value their friendship a whole lot.
It's a cool thing, you know. Just I always get the great gift in the business we're in is of relationships. It's above anything. I just always pray for them, and they don't always stay intact for whatever one reason or another. But I pray for them too, because it's so amazing to have like lifelong relationships, stuff you care about. It's so cool. We're lucky around here. People have been here their whole careers.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
So much something to be grateful for. That's a big one there.
Yeah,
Very
it is.
much.
Yeah.
Very much.
Well, so guys, I would encourage our audience that check out their podcast,
Yeah,
Spring Legion.
Spring Legion.
What is the Instagram? It's just Spring
It's
Legion.
everything's Spring Legion. Should be.
Just Spring Legion.
Y'all on Twitter?
We probably got one.
Somewhere.
I don't. Not active on it.
MySpace? Y'all are too young for
I had a
MySpace.
MySpace. I was old enough for MySpace.
Okay.
I wasn't.
Mac, you follow him?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Mac
can get it-
follows everybody.
You can follow them on the line at AOL.com.
You got mail.
That's pretty good.
Oh, man. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. Thank y'all for
thank y'all
traveling
for
up
being
here.
here.
So thank y'all for
Absolutely.
having us.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. You got anything else?
You got anything
Yeah.
else?
Do y'all ever watch our television show Tuesday nights, Outdoor Channel?
I think so.
Occasionally, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Whenever I can catch
Occasionally.
them, whenever it's harder to catch them on the regular TV.
Yeah.
I watch the reruns,
Do you have DVR or TiVo or anything like that?
something like that.
Do they even
Gotta
around
get it set
anymore?
up.
I think they are. Why don't you say goodbye, Dudley?
Goodbye, Dudley.
Get us out of here, Richie.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast, and be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine, and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.